Why will many men say or do almost anything to have sex? Hear me out. Simple answer is that human beings usually try to get what they want the easiest way possible. Women, on average, have an astronomically easier time finding a hookup than men. Because of this, women usually don't feel any need to lie to get laid. Men, on the other hand, may get frustrated when their advances are constantly rejected, so they try a new strategy: lie. When someone is not used to getting what they want and then do get it after lying, they're gonna have a real hard time not continuing that cycle of behavior. I think it boils down to the fact that it is very hard for an average guy to get laid, while it is very easy for an average woman to get laid. Therefore, some men will go great lengths to get laid, which includes lying, exploiting, and all other stuff. Women don't need to pretend. Go to a club, yell you want to get laid, and there's gonna be a group of men lined up. Just pick the most attractive one. Edit, typos. Have you ever seen those documentaries where a male bird obsessively builds a nest pile one twig at a time, or goes around dancing like an idiot to attract a female bird? Same principle. I think that a lot of it has to do with the fact that in society, men having sex is pretty much the coolest thing you can do. Society tells men, if you're not having sex, you're not cool, and the more sex you have, the cooler you are. And if you're not having sex, you're not cool, or if you're not having sex as much as the next guy, you're not as cool as him, etc. It's so important, it's better to lead someone on, lie, or exploit to get it. This is obviously a really toxic mindset which I don't support, but it's reinforced by all of society, and seems to be the one thing the left wing and right wing agree on. Because there are a lot of guys, especially the ones who use those kinds of tactics, are extremely lonely. It's not the sex they are usually after, it's being desired by another human. Desperation law. Imagine being turned down so much that you end up needing to lie to get what you want. Example: lying on a resume to get a job. Being a piece of shit is very easy and yields results. These guys come in two flavors. They are generally hotter or more polished. We will postulate top 30 than the average guy, or they wouldn't discard women like a food wrapper, would they? The hot-looking polished FK boy that wants to collect as many FWB and ONS as possible. Remember the popular hot guy in high school? He got older and he's still a douchebag of a human being. The other flavor is the OMG, what did I do? What was I thinking? Guy. Men are very hormonally neurotransmitter driven in certain situations, unlike women in certain situations. When a man meets a woman who he finds desirable and there is a reasonable possibility the hormones kick in, we will call this anticipation. The rational part of the brain is impaired. Anticipation drives an almost obsessive desire to sleep with that woman, until they have sex, then most of the hormones go away. I will call this post-nut clarity. This guy regrets what happened and just wants to forget it and ghosts often. Are you attracted to a man who has never had sex? When you say sex is great, but not that great, that tells a tale. Different people have different sex drives. My sex drive is wild off the charts. It's such that sexual incompatibility is a deal breaker for me. You could take the world's absolute perfect man, and I would not date him if we were not sexually compatible. At the same time, other people would scoff at me. Sex is not that important compared to everything else. So you see, I don't understand people that don't value sex highly. And they don't understand people like me that do. Does that explain lying and hurting people? No. But how many broken people are out there in the world? Selfish people that don't care who they hurt. It doesn't even have to be about sex. Some people are just users and abusers. You just answered your own question. You enjoy sex daily. Many men aren't getting sex that often, so are more desperate for it. Especially since society will shame a man who is a virgin or not very sexually experienced. I can't say why some men are the way they are. I absolutely love sex. But I'm also a weirdo as far as dating sex goes. I've never had sex with anyone I wasn't dating or in a relationship with. Never had a one-night stand, or a hookup, and I do mean never. With that being said, for me it's always been more about being closer to that person, and connecting on a much deeper level, than just the simple act of sex. Yes, sex is fun. But, without the emotional connection, I feel like I'm robbing them of who I am, and they're robbing me of who they are. I don't need to lie to get it, because if I don't, it's not like it's going to kill me. Hasn't so far. Men don't, the trash men you've interacted with do. It's their prime objective and they lack empathy. The same behaviors and motivations exist when business people choose their own profit over the health, well-being and good of their employees and shareholders, literally anyone besides themselves and whomever they deem worthy. With sex it's about short-term gratification, and a lot of them relieve themselves of any guilt by rationalizing that both people got something out of the sex even if it didn't lead to anything else. It continues because there is no accountability. If these guys had a red X appear on their forehead for lying to get laid, then the behavior would decrease, whether it be from personal shame or the lack of ability to fool the next person into sleeping with them. I am here for the comments. Clearly you haven't gone years without sex like an unattractive man. I don't think it's most men. I think it's a minority of men who engage in this behavior over and over. Serial fuckboys, if you will. It's the same dynamic that explains how most women can have had an experience with harassment or sexual assault without most men being harassers or assaulters. It's not all men, but definitely some, and they do it because society taught them that it's what is the cool thing to do. Society promotes a culture of lying, cheating, and being over-sexualized. I agree with you. More men should just masturbate or upfront about looking for a hookup. It was never that deep to lie and hurt people and not matter what some of y'all men say or what excuse. No, it's never okay to lie or cheat. Period.